Hi there. Thank you so much for listening to this week's video message. Let's talk a little bit about alternatives for word reading. Perhaps you have some sheets that you print out that have words on there for your students to practice their decoding and fluency skills with a particular lesson. But sometimes we want to switch it up, right? Things might start to feel a little mundane if we're just reading the same words or the same routine from a piece of paper all the time. So, one of the ways that we can switch that up is by gamifying it. And one game that I like to use that really is great for an alternative to word reading is a game called Roll and Read. So I'm going to show roll and read today in this video and some tips for that and a little bit more about gathering some informal data from it. So this is a typical roll and read game board. You'll notice there are numbers across the top and some words in a grid. I made this roll and read template on my desktop application on the Literacy Nest on the site called Word List Builder. And if you have an account on Word List Builder, you know that you can search for words by a particular phonics concept or skill. You can pick the words that you want from your search and save them to folders. And then you can pick the words that you want to put into a template like roll and read. You pick the words you want, and they automatically get populated or put into these little cells. And you print it out, and I laminated it. The other thing is if you're playing this game virtually, excuse me, is you can save the template as an image, and you can copy paste it into a Google slide presentation and you can play online. So that works really well if you are tutoring virtually or teaching online. Okay, so let's talk about how we play roll and read. So you're going to need a six-sided die and you're going to need some game pieces, so little placeholders. So sometimes I'll use mini erasers. If it's something seasonal, I might use like little snowflakes, or if it's Valentine's Day, maybe little hearts, something like that. For today's demonstration, I'm going to use these little magnetic pins. That way, because I'm holding it up, they'll stick right on there. Okay, so to play roll and read, first of all, you can play just you with the student. The student can play independently on their own, or you could do it maybe against two people or in a small group. But everybody gets their own board. And you'll be surprised before I go over the directions, how many words they're going to be practicing reading in a relatively short period of time. Okay, so we're going to roll, read, and mark that spot with a game piece. So I'm going to roll. I rolled a 4. I'm going to start either at the top, the first space, or the bottom space, and I'll explain why. So I'm going to put a piece on rate. So I read it, and then I cover it. And what happens is as you keep playing, it almost becomes like a little race to see which number column will fill up first. And this becomes pretty exciting for kids as I'm rolling and reading, I'm not really reading, am I? For kids as they read them. So name. So each time they take a turn, though, have them read the word date, shade, chase, snake. So you get the idea. So what I do is have them play until they get a first place winner, and then keep playing to get a second place winner, and then the third place winner. And it's not like you're playing against someone else. It's almost like the numbers are competing with one another. So that's what makes it a little less competitive for kids, but still really exciting and an excellent opportunity to read lots of words for word reading practice. Sometimes I might, if we have a little extra time, we'll play to see how quickly we can fill up the whole board. Okay, at this point, what you want to make sure whenever you play a game with a student or students that you're taking little notes. And if you just want to even jot it down on your lesson plan somewhere or even just on a sticky note, then that is really, really going to inform your instruction. So as you are listening to the child roll and read, whenever they make whenever they misread a word, well, first of all, you'd like to tell them, coaching them with try that one again. But you want to make note of that on a sticky note so that later on you can address those words again, both in decoding and encoding, but in a different format, perhaps with words with letter magnets and then writing them in dictation, sentence reading. But you want to provide more exposures to those words, particularly that were misread in the game. And as we know, when we're working with children who really struggle with reading, they need a lot of exposures, they need a lot of repetitions, and there's a lot of what we refer to as overlearning going on, so that we're helping that begin to get on that pathway to mastery. So a game like Roll and Read is really going to be informative. See, are there any trends coming up? For instance, if I note down a couple of words that were misread that maybe, oh, all those words had blends in them, then I'm going to make sure that I go back and put those words into my lesson plan for future reference. And I'm making sure that they're getting some decoding and encoding practice with those words that were missed in the game. Okay, so we went over a few things. We went over how to get the game from Word List Builder. I'll put the link in the comments if you want to start out trying Word List Builder. We went over how to play roll and read. So now if you're one of those people, how do you play a roll and read? Now you know. And then finally, the third tip is to really do some thoughtful kid watching, really listening, taking some notes, and using those notes to be able to inform future lessons and the words that you give your students. Okay, I hope this was helpful, but let me know if you have any questions and have a great day.